I'm Dr. Rachel Griffiths, and I'm with my father and partner in aquatics.
Dr. Tom Griffiths.
Welcome to the Drowning Files, where each week we share a lawsuit we've been involved in or another true story with suggestions to learn from these tragedies to save lives. What case do you have today?
Sometimes autistic children are placed into daycare centers with other children and with supervised activities. And daycare center drownings are also a problem where the daycare supervisors don't have enough education about drowning prevention and don't know how quick, quiet, and subtle these drownings can be. So, one particular case we had was an autistic child who was inside a home that was serving as a daycare center. And they had a TV timeout where all the children in the daycare were watching TV in a living room. There were French doors with windows in the living room that exited to the backyard where there was a residential swimming pool. The doors were shut. The pool could be viewed from indoors. And this happens a lot with autistic children. When they see a pool, when they see a pond, they want to get into the water. And so, with the children watching this TV and watching a show nice and quietly, everyone has their eyes glued to the set. This autistic child left that room somehow, we believe through the French doors, although we cannot prove that, got into the pool and drowned. Now, like many cases with autistic children and even other children who don't have autism as well, they didn't know that the child was missing until the end of the activity. So the entire group was watching this TV show, supervisors as well. And then when the show was over and they clicked the TV off to move on to the next activity, they found out they were short one. So they looked around the house. No one was outside to their knowledge, so they were delayed in checking outdoors. Finally, when they did, of course, tragically, this young boy, who was about 6 years old at the time, was floating face down in the pool, and it was far too late. Especially for daycare providers who are doing this service in their home and they have a residential pool, they have a responsibility to make sure that they have pool alarms, pool safety covers, four-sided fence with self-closing and self-latching gates. If they're providing daycare for numerous kids, then they have to add additional layers of protection to make sure children don't enter the pool unauthorized and without close supervision. And so that's just one of the many cases that we've had involving autistic children. And in Houston, Texas, where it's usually hazy, hot, and humid in the summer, this summer they had 3 different drownings to autistic children, 3 different ones at 3 different sites. 2 were in the open water, 1 was in the swimming pool. And you and I have discussed how autistic children are attracted to the water and how they have a very high drowning rate as to compared to people without autism. But this news story, which doesn't have a lot of details and specifics, really heightens the need for us to do a better job warning and educating both parents with children of autism, but also professionals, water safety professionals around the country who may have autistic children coming to their facilities, and to private or residential pool owners as well. We've been involved with lawsuits in the past with autistic children, and what we have in Houston, where you have 3 different children in 3 different aquatic facilities drowning in the same summer, just really should motivate us all to do a better job of telling people that we know with children of autism, making sure that they're aware of the heightened risk, um, and to tell people with residential pools that they have to be hyper vigilant when it comes to barriers to keep autistic children out of the pool. I might add, and I think we've discussed this in the past, Rachel, where we've had children who have climbed the walls of above ground pools when their parents and caregivers have stated that they couldn't climb walls, they couldn't climb up over barriers. We've had other cases where autistic child has opened a door in the house and opened the gate to the pool when the parents and caregivers said they were not able to do this. They haven't mastered that skill yet. So somehow, some way, when autistic children detect water, they become really motivated to get in that water, even though there are barriers in place, and even though they cannot swim. So basically, it's a wake-up call. It's a reminder that everyone has to come together to raise awareness about the effects of autism on the drowning rate for children all across the world. And that's the message I have for our listeners today, which came across the news wires in the United States.